Welcome to Around the League, presented by the Goaline Network. I am your host, G. Harris, and with me I got my guy Tibbs. This is our first ever episode of Around the League. Matter of fact, it's our first episode ever by the Goaline Network. Around the League is a show that's going to cover your team. Alright, we're going through every division, every single division, every single week. We're going to start this first episode off by, what other than a season preview of each division. Alright, so we're going to kick right into this. Tibbs, any wise words to start us off?
I just got a lot to say about the division with the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. So
you're in luck, actually. We're actually gonna start off with the AFC East.
Okay.
Last year the New England Patriots 14-2. The
Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Oh my goodness. You got the Miami Dolphins at 10-6, got the wild card, and you got the Buffalo Bills 7-9, missed the playoffs, followed by the Jets 5-11, missing the playoffs.
Woof.
So so you know what? Tonight I'm feeling all positive vibes. Season's about to start off. I'm here to pump up every single fan because the NFL is about to start, and let's go, baby, let's go,
dude. The longest 7 months of my life.
And it's crazy. It's literally been forever. Patriots lucked up last year and got the Super Bowl title, and for that, good for them.
Yeah, good for them. I got to thank Coach Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers for gift wrapping that Super Bowl by running the ball 3 times.
I am still having nightmares over that. I was out, and I was sure the game was over. I was totally positive the game was over.
You changed your profile picture to the Atlanta Falcons symbol. I remember. I thought I was never going to talk to you again, but I'm glad that I did. That was so. I must have told this story about 20 times. 20 is 20 times by the next day. But there are 2 times in my life where I felt euphoric. And my definition of euphoric being like, I remember it happening. I remember being so happy I couldn't contain myself. And, I just can't recall specifics of that entire evening. And those 2 times are one when my fiance agreed to marry me, which I never thought was going to happen. And number 2 was the Patriots winning this game. I never thought this was going to happen. I had cashed out. There was no way this was going to happen. I was ready to go home. I was miserable. Couldn't stand to be around any of my friends. And then you just keep on believing, and that's what happened. And you know what, G? But one day your Ravens will win it again too. I know they got gift wrapped the Super Bowl when Beyonce blew out the lights back in 2012? Feels like forever ago. But anyway,
Patriots fans, they got lucky that game. But you know what? New season, clean slate. We'll start off with the Patriots. We'll start off with the Patriots. They won the division last year. So already, you know what? I'll give you the floor. I'll let you start off with the Patriots.
Give me the floor. I appreciate that. So, this is how I feel about the Patriots. One, they're Super Bowl favorites, and I don't like that. I like the Patriots more when they're coming from behind, when they get that nobody believes in them factor. That's not happening this year. The things that I have to watch for the Patriots are they have the transcendent offense. They have many potential all-pro wide receivers, or not just wide receivers, but receiving options. They have Julian Edelman. Unfortunately, he's not around anymore, but Brandon Cooks. They have, and the best tight end in possibly NFL history, Rob Gronkowski. The thing that I'm really looking forward to is the 3 new running backs that they're adding to the mix. DJ Foster, who's probably not going to pay that much of this is his first real year competing, but he's been on the team a couple of years. DJ Foster, not going to really equate that much, though, but Rex Burkhead and Mike Gillislee coming. Rex Burkhead from Cincinnati, Mike Gillislee from Buffalo. I think they're really going to add a strong run game dimension that's really going to give this team a little more teeth, which is scary because when Tom Brady's getting that ball, that something bad's going to happen. Other things to watch, decent corners and Brady being Brady, man. I'm really upset how they did Malcolm Butler. He gift wrapped them a Super Bowl, and they did him dirty, bringing in, oh man. You see, this is why it pays to take notes in school, kids.
You got you got Gilmore, who is
Gilmore. Yep.
I have no idea why he signed with the Patriots. But
way above market price.
It's hey, that is nice, but it's crazy. You brought up something that you said would be a benefit is the running backs. I think that's actually I think that's going to haunt the Patriots because I don't see how you bring in this many quality running backs. Be it they're not superstars in this league, but quality running backs. I just don't see how everyone can coexist. Everybody wants the ball. There's only one ball to go around. I just feel like it's. I don't know. I see that's going to be. I think it's going to be a problem. I mean, too many running backs. It's too many running backs. I'm just going to say it.
I could see that. I can see where you're coming from. Finish your thought, G. I have an interrupting problem. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's so. I mean, you have Deion Lewis, who a few years ago came on scene. You guys, Patriots took him away from the Browns. Poor Browns. They had a quality player. They didn't even know it. Patriots revived him and brought him back to life. Had some injuries, but he's still there. James White, comes alive and around. You got Burkhead, who came on really strong at the end of the year last year. I don't know how Cincinnati allowed him to get away. And then, you got Mikey G. Mikey G. I mean, it's just, I don't know how it's going to coexist. You have, I look at the Patriots, obviously Tom Brady at quarterback. You're going to be in games with him. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Brady at all, but he's
really
possibly the best quarterback of all time.
I need a soundbite of that to play. Whenever I'm going to post that on every Facebook thread. If we're talking about Joe Flacco being elite, but that's a topic for another week. G. The things that have me concerned about the Patriots right now is one, not enough ball to go around. I said the same thing about the Golden State Warriors. And you saw how that ended up in June. But, we're talking apples and oranges with basketball and football. But what really concerns me with this team is the lack of depth on the front seven, especially the linebackers. The retirement of Rob Ninkovich really hurt the Patriots. I don't think they were expecting that. I think it's really going to hurt for the pass rush. And when the pass rush is better, the corners play better. I'm concerned that we're going to see that these corners get exposed a little. And I'm also a little nervous about Brady gelling with his new receivers. Now, we saw how Chad Ochocinco worked out back in 2011. That's a whole nother story because, what a personality he was. And you hear maybe he wasn't 100% or 100% in the game, but still, he has a lot of new receivers coming in. He's got the Philip Dorsett from the U. He's got Brandon Cooks, who's a big ticket item. I have to feel good about it because I'm a Patriots fan, but at the same time, that concerns me with Brady's history with new wide receivers. He has rolls and rolls of playbooks. That's really where he's failed in the past, is integrating new receivers into the system. Chad Jackson, Ochocinco, Aaron Dobson, the list goes on. But overall, you have to feel confident about the Patriots making a return to the big game.
Absolutely. I mean, it's you can't deny that. The Patriots, you can't deny it. I think that the injury to Julian Edelman, I think that's I think that's a devastating injury for the Patriots. Yes, you have Gronk healthy, but for how long? Yes, you have when Chris Hogan was with the Miami Dolphins, I remember during Hard Knocks they nicknamed him 7-Eleven because he was always open.
Always open, baby.
He's always open. So, he's, good receiver. Brandon Cooks, how's he going to fit into this offense? Philip Dorsett, how's he going to fit into the offense? I read a report today that he said he's not overwhelmed by the Patriots playbook. The Patriots have a lot of option routes, and you need to be on the same page with Brady. I don't know if you can do that, in just practices throughout the week, without just the training camp. But you know what? Patriots, it's looking good for them. It's looking good. But you know what? The next team that was, that snuck in and got a wild card last year, the Miami Dolphins. This is a team that, 10-6 last year. They had their starting quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, go down, this year. And lo and behold, Jay Cutler spotting is near. Jay Cutler is now on the Miami Dolphins. And you know what? It's crazy. I'm getting excited right now as I'm just sitting here right now. I'm just getting so excited. But I don't think the world is ready for what they're going to see with the Miami Dolphins. This team.
Okay, tell me about it. I'm looking forward to this.
Dolphins fans, listen up. I am here for you. I am your supporter. Where should I begin? Jay Cutler. All right. Jay Cutler, all right, one of his best statistically, his best season was under Adam Gase in Chicago. He comes to this offense where he knows it in and out, and Jay Cutler has never had this many weapons on his team. He has unlimited amount of weapons, and also something that Jay Cutler has never seen in his career in Chicago is an offensive line. You know, I think we're going to have to break down what that is for Jay Cutler to actually have an offensive line. But think about guys he's throwing to here. You have none other than Jarvis Landry, great receiver, very underrated. Devontae Parker, who, according to Jay Cutler, is a faster version of Alshon Jeffrey. You have Kenny Stills, who did really good while he was, you know, with the Saints, and then he's kind of tailed off a little bit in Miami, but I think he's going to come alive with Jay Cutler. And then let's not forget Julius Thomas, tight end.
Oh, I forgot about Julius, Orange Julius.
Hey, you know, he's gonna show some Orange Julius this year because I think he's back. You know, he's motivated. Actually, has a veteran quarterback in Miami. Hey, I mean, it's good things. It's good things for the team offensively. They got that bruiser at running back for December football. He's ready. He is ready to go. Jay Ajayi, and then their defense led by Ndamukong Suh. Honestly, I'm excited for this team. I'm totally excited. I think the Dolphins are a team to definitely be on the lookout for.
So you're not the only one jazzed up about that. You got me jazzed up for the Miami Dolphins with this pep talk. And as a Patriots fan, I want the Miami Dolphins to do well. It's really hard to argue to other fans of other teams, such as yourself with the Baltimore Ravens, that the Patriots are a legitimate powerhouse when they're just beating up on these subpar AFC teams, AFC East teams year after year. And when Tannehill went down, I thought that was over, but you really got me going. I forgot about Julius Thomas. I forgot that Jay Cutler was under Adam Gates in the past. Gates, not Gates. But what I'm concerned with is if Jay Cutler can really care. If he cares, I think that they have a shot at that 10-6 wild card spot again. You did mention Ndamukong Suh, how he's a force, but I can't tell you as a Patriots fan how nervous I get whenever Tom Brady tries to go up the middle or holds on to the ball too long against the Dolphins and Ndamukong Suh's coming at him, because I would not put it past him, end Tom Brady's career prematurely, knock on wood. I can't even think of that. Jarvis Landry, you mentioned. I'm really jazzed about him. I have him on 3 of my fantasy teams. Yes, I have 4. I have a 6th.
Great choice.
He is under surveillance right now for a possible suspension, so I'm hoping that falls through for him, not only because I want my team to do well, but I hope that he's a better man than that. And Jay Cutler, if Smoking Jay Cutler can bring it, I'm really looking forward to the Dolphins this year, because any Patriots fan will tell you, the Jets are fine, the Bills are fine. We're probably going to lose a game to the Dolphins. That's what any Patriots fan will tell you. So if the Dolphins can actually make a statement this season and reclaim that wild card spot and maybe get their foot in the door for the conversation for AFC East title once Brady retires, I'd like to see that.
It's very interesting. I think something, for next year, because I have big hopes on Jay Cutler this year. I think that, the conversation is going to be started. Did Tannehill lose his job? I really think Cutler is going to be there to stay because, Jay Cutler, as much as people hate him, he's never had a line. So a lot of these unearned throws he's throwing and all these, you scratch your head interceptions, is because he really doesn't have a line. He's just there. Instead of taking a sack, he's throwing the ball up. But I think now, with actual, solid running game, offensive line, and all these weapons, which he has never had this many weapons, I think it's going to be some great things for them. So Dolphins fans, this is definitely the time to be excited.
Yeah, do not buy your Tannehill jerseys yet. And I just looked it up. The Dolphins have a potential out in 2018 on Tannehill's contract, so that's definitely not out of the question. So you heard it here first, folks.
Yes, so I think that's something to definitely be on the lookout for.
Agreed.
And with the rest of the division, we have the Buffalo Bills next. They went 7-9 last year. I said, I'm feeling positive vibes tonight. Positive vibes. So I'm not gonna. I'm here for the fans, Buffalo Bills fans. I'm here for you too. I am here. I am your friend. What do you think about the Bills? What do you think about the Bills? Before I pump all the Bills fans up, what do you have to say about them?
So I love that the Bills fans have so much passion. They're the most fun fans to kind of get a rise out of because there are two things that are certain, or three things really. There's death, taxes, and Brady over the Bills. But that being said, the Bills defense is something to be excited about. Shaq Lawson, Marcel Darius, Kyle Williams, those are three potential Pro Bowlers up front. Then they have some great linebackers to back it up. They do have some turnover in the secondary, but it's something to be excited about. Sammy Watkins is gone, but I don't necessarily think that's that bad of a thing. I just don't think it was a good fit there. The Bills have to go back to ground and pound. They have probably one of the top three running backs in the league named LaShawn McCoy. And I think that, which is French for LaShawn, if you didn't know. Bad jokes. I'm sorry, man. But he is actually my favorite running back in the game. I like him more than David Johnson just because he's kind of been there before. He knows what he's doing. He can catch the ball, run the ball. And he always gives the Patriots fits when the Bills play the Patriots. And I think that if they run the offense through LaShawn McCoy with a little human highlight reel mixed in there, I think it's going to be okay for the Buffalo Bills. I wouldn't put out a second place finish in the AFC East for them.
Wow, that's big. I'm like I said, Bills fans. Bills fans, I'm here for you. There was the coach. Coach said today, he's willing to play LaShawn McCoy every snap if need be to win. So I think fantasy owners, LaShawn McCoy is somebody to definitely keep your eye on if he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, that's always been a key thing for him is if he can stay healthy. Bills, I'm going to say it like this. All right, you have Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, who I think he's a very underrated at quarterback. It's a lot of people give them a lot of give them a lot of crap for getting rid of all their receivers essentially. Anquan Bolden just walked out the door on them as well. But they have a rookie in Zay Jones. And this
I've heard a lot about Zay Jones.
He is an athletic freak. I mean, he is somebody who I think the reason why they felt comfortable getting rid of Sammy Watkins is because they knew what they had in Zay Jones. You gotta see these guys day in and day out in practice. They know what they have. And they brought in Jordan Matthews, who he's Mr. Consistent. He is cousins of Jerry Rice. So you got that bloodline going there. I'm not saying he's Jerry Rice at all. But the bloodline's there. Definitely a good route runner. And I think he's a great fit because he doesn't get injured. Sammy Watkins, you could not count on him. So I think they upgraded there. At all. And tight end, they still have Charles Clay there. Offensive line, you got Shady McCoy. Defensively, let's keep in mind they brought in Sean McDermott from the Panthers, who is a defensive genius. He has the pieces on defense. And, I really think that, they brought in Michael Hyde from Green Bay as well. Hey, I mean, this team is, people are doubting the Bills. They have a solid team. I think they can win games. It'll be ugly. Defensive games, running the ball, some big plays by Tyrod Taylor, Zay Jones, and Jordan Matthews. But you know what? The Bills, I'm not counting them out yet. I'm just not counting them out. The defense is there. I think they're going to play solid defense, and I think they'll be able to score just enough on offense to to shake some things up. Bills fans, let's go.
I can see that. The one so I want to bring up a couple things that I missed out on the first time, and I'm looking at their depth chart right now. So I know this sounds like I'm kind of digging a little, but for the fullback position for the Buffalo Bills, they have two Pro Bowl fullbacks right now, Patrick DeMarco and Mike Tolbert. So maybe they're good, or they can both catch passes and they can both block. That's both good things for Shady McCoy. Another thing, and we'll get into this more in our practice segment if it ever happened. But they just signed Joe Webb as a backup. Joe Webb, a receiver coming out of college, hasn't thrown a pass since 2012 or 2013. You know who's sitting on the sidelines plenty good that can quarterback a game, has been in the Super Bowl before? Colin Kaepernick. Buffalo Bills, pick up the phone, man. Get Kaepernick on your team because he can help you out. But let's not get into that right now. Or we can get into it if you want. But yeah.
Well, you got some good points there. Well, one big thing I'd say with Mike Tolbert, the Buffalo Bills, they cut their backup running back, Jonathan Williams, who was, a big surprise. A lot of people thought he was going to come on strong and possibly steal carries from LaShawn McCoy. But you cut him for whatever reason. We're not there, every day to really know what's going on. But I think this says a lot about Mike Tolbert. I think he is going to end up being the backup running back there and seeing some carries. And I think that, they have the tides from Carolina. Sean McDermott knows what Mike Tolbert can do. Saw him in practice every day in Carolina. I think he brings that smash mouth football that they need, opposite of Sean McCoy. LaShawn McCoy is more finesse back, but when you get to December football, when it gets cold, man, you want to just pound people right in the mouth, and I think that Mike Tolbert is perfect for it. And people forget when Tyrod Taylor was at Virginia Tech, he led the country in completion percentage. He is an accurate quarterback. If they can get him some time to throw, he can make some things happen. He can make some things happen. Bills fans, I'm with you.
All right. Next. I'm feeling good about that. So do we just want to get this out of the way real quick, talking about the joke of the NFL, the New York Jets? How can we spin this for our Jets fans friends? Because, as a Patriots fan, I have to not like the Jets, but I do have Jets fans friends. John Klein, I'm thinking at you on Long Island. But they're clearly at a race for the bottom right now for Sam Darnold out of USC. How do you feel about that, G?
Hey, so look, Jets fans. Look, I tell you, I don't know what's in this water I'm drinking here. I'm drinking a Poland Springs water. Shout out to Poland Springs. Go to your local store, get Poland Springs. Hey, Poland Springs, you have our number. So look, I'm not sure what's in this Poland Springs, but it's a lot of positive vibes in it right now. Jets fans, I am your friend. I am here for you. Jets fans have, they've gotten a lot of heat this off season. People just burning their hopes away. But you know what? I'm positive vibes tonight. At quarterback, they have a veteran quarterback in Josh McCown, who's been there, done that. No rookies, move out of the way, Bryce Petty. Move out of the way, Christian Hackenberg. We don't need that. We need a veteran quarterback. You have a veteran running back in Matt Forte, which a lot of people forget how great of a career Matt Forte has had. I think he is in the conversation for a possible Hall of Fame. He's quietly had a very strong career as a runner and as a receiving back as well. Receivers, they just signed Jeremy Curley. He just got signed back. You have, somebody from Seattle, Jermaine Kearse, who was an underrated receiver. They have some receiving options there. The line is not bad. It's still smash mouth Jets football. Defensively, people forget, their coach is Todd Bowles, who is a defensive genius, and they have the manpower on defense to make some noise. Morris Claiborne at corner on defense, who had a great year at corner last year for the Cowboys. He finally stayed healthy and finally put it together for one season. I think that was a big pickup for them. And also they have Buster Screen at their other cornerback position. Jamal Adams at safety, a big pickup from LSU. I think
he's huge.
A huge pickup. I think he'd be a top 5 safety in the league this year, week 1. They also got another rookie at starting a safety, Marcus May, I think that's another big pickup, Ohio State. And also you have Leonard Williams. You got him on the line.
Best player on their
big
team.
Muhammad Wilkerson. I mean, this team, you got Darren Lee, Mr. 4-4-40 at inside linebacker. Honestly, this team defensively, good luck scoring points on the Jets. Good luck scoring points on the Jets. And like I said, you got a veteran running back and a veteran quarterback. I think they can, corral this team together enough to make it happen. I'm not counting the Jets out. I read a poll or an article just the other day that Vegas said this might be the worst team of all time.
There are definitely worse teams out there.
Oh my! The defense, it's in the defense, baby. It's in the defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, the defense definitely does have it. You just mentioned the kid out of OSU, the kid out of LSU. Those are two football factories. They manufacture Pro Bowlers. If they can inject some life into this defense, Leonard Williams on the front line, that's really going to put some pressure on the quarterbacks. Maybe he makes a bad throw. Maybe the new safety takes it to the house, defensive back love for my man Ed Reed. It can happen. It can happen. They can definitely make some noise. Hoyer, I'd love to see it. Journeyman quarterbacks always have a soft spot in my heart after what happened to Drew Bledsoe, just constantly being replaced by all the same quarterbacks. But it's going to be tough, but they can definitely make the season interesting. It's the NFL. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. One thing I do want to add, I'm getting myself a little shout out in there. So I don't know how exactly you trace this back. So first of all, the main prize for the NFL draft this year is Sam Darnold, quarterback out of USC. My third cousin, so my father's cousin's wife's cousin, is Jack Sears, who is the second string quarterback at USC. And I've heard it through the grapevine, my man, that if Darnold leaves, he's going to be the top dog over there. So I might get some free tickets to USC football, which I'd love.
Nice.
So let's hope that the Jets can corral him away from the NCAA and make it happen. But you ready to? First, I made some notes on the games to look out for in the AFC East. You want me to address those, or do you just want to start
please,
over
go right
to
ahead.
the? All right, my man.
Right
so the number one game I think in the NFL, the most watched game this season outside the Super Bowl and maybe the playoffs is going to be Atlanta at New Orleans. Atlanta at New Orleans. Rewind. Atlanta at New England. Super Bowl rematch in Week 7. 28-3 is never going to die. That's something that's going to be with us forever. I feel for the Atlanta fans as someone who's seen the David Tyree catch millions and millions of times. That's not going to go away, but you got to pick it up, Atlanta fans, and kind of hit them back in the mouth. I obviously don't want that to happen because I'm a Patriots fan, but at the same time, it's going to be a great game to watch. Another great game, Week 15, Patriots at Pittsburgh. There's been a lot of talk about the Pats going 19-0. I've been down that road before. Trust me, I don't want to go down it again. But if they're going to lose a game, it's probably going to be in Pittsburgh, so you would think. Pittsburgh is 3-7 versus New England at home. 3-7 in the last 10 matchups against Brady, and 2-7 versus Brady. So it's 3-7 versus the Patriots, 2-7 versus Brady. They've had 7 games, home games in the Brady era, and only 2 wins. So it's not looking good for Pittsburgh, but they can definitely put up a fight, as you know, coming from the NFC North. Your Baltimore Ravens, kind of grasping at straws right here towards the end. New York Jets at Cleveland in Week 5. Kind of a race to the bottom type game. I know that we're trying to be Mr. Positive today, but that might be one of the worst games of football ever to grace the television set. So it's going to be interesting to see who doesn't want it more. Week 11, New England versus Oakland in Mexico City. So it's going to be strange to see how the NFL does in Mexico City. I know they played there last year, but this is the first time they really had that marquee matchup.
It's a huge game.
Chiefs and Raiders last year. It is going to be a huge game. AFC Championship preview, I personally don't think so, but we'll get to that a little later. And then a little one for you Jay Cutler fans out there. Week 10, Denver at Miami. Jay Cutler gets his chance for revenge versus Denver.
Good job, Jay. Let's get it.
There we go, man. All right, so now we move to the NFC East, going from one of the least competitive divisions to consistently the most interesting division in football. Gee, what can you tell us about the NFC East?
Absolutely. The NFC East. All right. So this is a very interesting division. Notoriously, usually a pretty competitive division. Last year you had the Dallas Cowboys at 13-3. You had the New York Giants, 11-5, sneaking into the playoffs. You have 8-7-1, a tie for the Washington Redskins, missing the playoffs, and 7-9 for the Eagles. Okay, this year. Okay, we'll start off with the Cowboys. Big news out in Dallas. Elliott, the running back, his suspension was upheld. However, he is allowed to play in the first game, which I think is huge because they are playing a division rival, someone who they could be, fighting for the, the division crown with in the Giants. I think that is huge to have him for this game. It's, what? Positive vibes, Pete. Positive vibes, positive vibes. Dallas Cowboy fans, I am your friend. This is a common theme we have tonight. I am your friend. You got Dak Prescott. He's a legit quarterback. Sent Tony Romo to the booth. You have a running back, and you know what? People, make a big deal about Ezekiel Elliott's suspension, which I think is huge because he is a great running back. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Listen, this line is great. This line is great. You have a running back that is, tucked away in the depth chart here in Dallas, and he doesn't get a lot of recognition, but there's a guy, by the name of Alfred Morris, who I don't know why, I don't know why he went to Dallas, to be honest. I really don't. He has some fresh legs. Alfred Morris, we forget, he's a former 1,600-yard rusher. I think he can steal the show when Ezekiel is out. I'm not a big Darren McFadden fan. He's always let me down. But Alfred Morris, people, I think he is someone to look out for. You obviously have Des Bryant, Terrence Williams, Cole Beasley, who is a poor man's Julian Edelman. Not saying that because he's, your white slot receiver. He's a poor man's Julian Edelman. And defensively, I think they have enough pieces defensively. I think this offense is a powerhouse, so, they don't really need the greatest defense in the world. But the one thing about the Cowboys, and it's so critical in a tough division, is they have a lot of suspensions on defense, and now offense with Ezekiel. But later into the season, when other teams are having guys that are injured, the Cowboys are getting stronger. Guys coming from suspension, guys possibly coming off of IR. Look out. I think they'll be getting stronger as the year goes on, while other teams might be dealing with some injuries.
Yeah, and this is going to be a theme whenever we do a podcast, and I'm going to have to dial it back to the Patriots. We saw that last year with Tom Brady. Suspended 4 games, came out week 5 fresh as ever. And it really does help. Not that we're, condoning anything that any of the Dallas Cowboys have done, but it does definitely keep you fresh when you have that built-in 4-week vacation. Something that I'm really excited about is their new defensive end out of Michigan, Go Blue, Taco Charlton. I'm really looking forward to him to be a force from the outside. I think that the defense from the Cowboys last year was definitely their weak point, and the weak point of the weak point was their pass rush. If they can get 10 sacks out of him, I think that's two games won that they lost last year. And I know that they didn't lose many games, but that really goes to show how good this Cowboys team can be. Jason Garrett is somebody that worries me as the coach. Are we really sure he's that good? He's been there for almost 10 years, maybe a little more than 10 years. There's nothing really that great that's really set him apart. This might be his last chance, G.
It's funny you brought that up because, you forget that, how long Jason Garrett has been there. He's been there for a while, and, they've always, seemed to be right on the cusp, and always fail. I think Jerry Jones, I think he loves Jason Garrett. I think Jason Garrett is like a son to Jerry Jones, and I think he can't do any wrong. I think he is there. I think Jason Garrett will never go anywhere unless the Cowboys totally fall off the face of the earth. But the way they're building this team, I don't see that happening in the near future. One thing that is very unique is a guy, you New Englanders may know him, Jonathan Cooper. Patriots traded for him out of Arizona. He's now on the Cowboys, and he's actually, due to some injuries, he's going to be starting on this great offensive line. So I think this is one of those things you can always, you always say a chain is only as strong as, its weakest link. Is Jonathan Cooper a weak link, or is he going to resurrect his career? I think this team is, hey, Cowboys fans, I'm with you. I can't say anything wrong. You got a great young quarterback, running game, your offensive line. You're going to put up points. You got some young pass rushers. I'm excited for the Cowboys. I think, they might surprise some people and keep it up because they had a lot of guys on defense leave through free agency, and I'm actually commending the Cowboys for not overpaying for them. I think they infuse some young talent now, and hey, I think they won't really miss a beat.
They really know when to let guys go. DeMarcus Ware did wonderful things for that franchise. They cut him loose a couple years ago, and he really didn't, have much to offer to a team that was kind of in their rebuilding phase. So, they're a smart team. As much as I don't enjoy Jerry Jones as a person, they do business well in Dallas. Also, Dallas fans, I know that I can count on you in our fight against Roger Goodell, us Patriots fans. So we got another friend. We got G with the Ray Rice suspension being overblown. We got Deflategate. We got Bountygate. The army against Roger Goodell is growing. So that being said, I don't want to spend too much time on controversy. But why don't we go to my second least favorite team in the NFL? But we're being friendly today, G. So there are our friends and yours, the New York Giants. What can you tell us about them?
Absolutely, the New York Super Giants. Well, I guess that'd be the Superchargers, but you know what? Positive vibes going. They're going to be Super Giants. They will always be the New York Super Giants in my eyes. All right, so hey, you got a Hall of Fame quarterback in Eli Manning. All right, and hey, the great Eli Manning, and you know what? People forget, Brandon Marshall, a guy that was on the Jets, same stadium, just a locker room right across the hall. He was there. This is one of those things where I remember a guy by the name of Randy Moss. I don't know if you heard of him, Randy Moss.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, you might have heard of him. He was out in Oakland, and people, he had some few down seasons. He was in Oakland at the time, and, he got shipped off to New England. And lo and behold, he comes back to life. And people say, oh, where was this Randy Moss at? You have to have a quarterback to throw you the ball when you're a wide receiver. I don't necessarily look at stats to say that a wide receiver has fallen off or that he's past his prime or he's washed up. Lo and behold, Brandon Marshall, who is a great receiver. And, I'm on this Hall of Fame kick lately. He is a future Hall of Famer, Brandon Marshall. Maybe not first ballot, but he is going to get in. You add him to this offense that already has Odell Beckham Jr. You have a slot receiver in Sterling Shepard. Come on, people. It's honestly at running back is the only question mark. Paul Perkins, don't know too much about the kid. They do have a guy by the name of Shane Vereen. Not sure if you heard of him as well.
Nice Super Bowl hero, Shane Vereen.
Hey, so honestly, I think why run the ball though? If I'm the Jets, if I'm the Giants, just pass it. Just pass it. Every down, pass it. You cannot have enough balls being thrown at Odell Beckham, catching them with one finger. You have Brandon Marshall. He's a stud as well. Speaking of one finger, sore topic, sorry. Jason Pierre-Paul on defense, got his contract. Got his contract. He's, getting more comfortable in himself playing the game. You got Damian Snacks Harrison, good luck running the ball. You got, Oliver Vernon, as well. They got the corners that are stacked. Eli Apple, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, Janoris Jenkins, who was arguably one of the top 3 corners in the league last year. Defensively, look, the Giants are for real defensively. Offensively, they are for real. Honestly, the only thing I question is the run game. But you have to respect the passing game so much that I think it's going to be room to run there.
I agree.
So, yeah. So what do you have to say about the Super Giants?
So even though we just chalked up the Cowboys for a good 15 minutes, I would not be surprised if the Giants came away with this division. Brandon Marshall, 18 receptions in a single game with the Broncos. That's Hall of Fame material. Some quarterbacks don't even throw 18 completions during a game, and he hauled in 18 receptions by himself. We're about 5-10 years removed from that. But still, that's a factor. That's definitely a factor. The one thing that I'm a little hesitant about for my Giants fans friends is Bob McAdoo who looks like a used car salesman, and I told myself I wasn't going to tell that joke because everybody tells that, might not be a great coach. And if they had Tom Coughlin at the helm still, I would say this was a Super Bowl champion in the making, which is making my skin crawl as I say that, because I can't tell you how defeated I would be if Tom Brady lost a third Super Bowl to Eli Manning. But Bob McAdoo might not be a great coach. The secondary, you talked them up. I'm not sure if they're that great. The one guy that you didn't mention that I'm really high on is Landon Collins out of Alabama. He's a candidate to win Defensive Player of the Year. Unless J.J. Watt comes alive with 20-something sacks again, I think that Landon Collins has a great shot at being Defensive Player of the Year. And that's who I'm really afraid of on that defense is the safety.
I can't forgot him.
I know. Well, it's really hard to forget. It's very similar to the Patriots, because when I was talking about the Patriots earlier, I forgot about Chris Hogan. They have so many playmakers on both sides of the ball, the New York Giants, that it's easy to forget one of them. And that just goes to show how great this team is.
See, and it's crazy because Landon Collins, his rookie year, a lot of people were down on them. He didn't produce like they thought he would. Some questioned if he would be able to translate to the game. And lo and behold, his sophomore season, he, was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. I think now another year of experience under his belt, added playmakers on defense, people understanding the system a little bit more. I think absolutely he could be, in the running again for Defensive Player of the Year. And also people forget the Giants are going to score points. You have Eli Manning, all these receiving options. And then, I almost forgot. There's a guy by the name of Evan Ingram sitting at tight end over there. A rookie. He is a weapon. He honestly, to me, I saw some videos of him. He looks like a wide receiver at the tight end position. He almost looks like Odell Beckham Jr. at tight end. This is freaky how good this offense could be. And also, what happens when you score points? Teams have to pass the ball against you. So good luck against the secondary and Jason Pierre-Paul, and you got Vernon just coming after the quarterback. So Giants fans, I'm excited for you guys. This is definitely a much improved team from last year, and I'm just very curious to see how good this team can actually be.
Definitely. And the one weakness I see them having, besides the run game, which, like you said, they're going to be able to pass it so easily, I'm not sure that's going to be much of a problem, but coaching. Coaching is the one thing that makes me nervous, but who knows? Bill Belichick was bad in his first year, and Bob McAdoo was pretty good. He made the playoffs, so you can't say too much bad about him. So only room to improve.
Great players make great coaches.
That is very, very true.
Lastly, this is a team that, you got the Washington Redskins. A lot of people are, kind of forgetting about the Redskins, so to speak. Look, I was never a huge Kirk Cousins fan. But hey, drinking this Poland Springs, shout out Poland Springs. Drinking this Poland Springs, I'm feeling positive vibes right now. Again, lo and behold, hey, Kirk Cousins is getting paid right now, and he's getting more confidence every year he's playing. He is starting to be more of a veteran, understanding NFL defenses, understanding how to, prepare for games, watch film. He's a legit quarterback, and he's there to stay. The Redskins should have already paid him whatever he wants to be their franchise quarterback. They keep franchise tagging him. I think he's gone after this year. I think he's going out to San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan, but we'll see. But they have Terrell Pryor at wide receiver. Okay, they also have another guy by the name of Josh Doxson out of TCU, who is another big receiver. And people forget last year, Kirk Cousins was throwing to two midgets. I hate to use the word, that probably not politically correct, but two short guys in Deshaun Jackson, okay, and also Pierre Garçon. This is tough in the NFL to be throwing to two short guys on the outside. Now, lo and behold, he brings in a 6'5", 6'6" Terrell Pryor at wide receiver, and he also has Josh Dobson is like another 6'5" wide receiver. He's throwing to two big trees out there who jump up and go get the ball. I think I think Kirk Cousins has an even better season this year. I know these two receivers are young receivers, but these are big targets, and I think Kirk Cousins is going to put it right on the numbers for them. I think, and then you also can't forget about Jordan Reed at tight end. If he can stay healthy, he's a great tight end, athletic tight end that can get it done. Run game, like I said, I don't know much about. I'm not big on Rob Kelly, but hey, we'll see. Defensively, the Redskins, they're going to score points. They brought in a guy by the name of Zach Brown, who was filling one of the inside linebacker positions. He's actually replacing Will Compton in the starting lineup. So they upgraded there. Teams were running the ball all over the Washington Redskins. I think, Zach Brown there, it's going to slow that down a little bit. They also got a big move in Jonathan Allen out of Alabama. He flipped to them in the draft, and I think he's going to solidify that defense up front. And also DJ Swearinger, a guy that is finally coming along in his career out of South Carolina. Hard-hitting safety, able to be that tone setter back there. Hey, Redskins fans, I'm here with you, man. This is people are sleeping on you, but hey, you guys are gonna put up points, and I think defensively you got a lot better than you were last year. So, what are your thoughts on the Redskins?
So, I gotta parrot right back to you what you said about the wide receivers. Who would have thought that we'd be talking about a quarterback out of OSU being one of the best receivers in football? Top 15, maybe not one of the best. That's a broad term, but Terrell Pryor really brought it in Cleveland. I bet Bill Belichick is kicking him that he let him leave practice when he tried out for him last year. But I'm glad that he got paid. Practice, someone who hasn't gotten paid yet, which I think is a travesty. Kirk Cousins. I'm not a fan of the Snyder regime in Washington. That man should have been paid 2 seasons ago. Even if you're not going to pay him top dollar, you could have gotten something worked out with how the salary cap works. You could give him more guaranteed or something. He could have a dynamite year, and you're going to lose him only because you disrespected him so much. What you said on defense, I completely agree with. From what Zach Brown did to the Patriots last year, I can tell you that he's for real, and he's going to be able to stop the run and play the quarterback as much as he needs to. Jonathan Allen, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot from him. Ziggy Hood, one of the best names in football. Defensive tackle out of Missouri from way back. Got to feel good about maybe him making a rejuvenation of his career. And Ryan Kerrigan out of Purdue, kind of the one that got away from me. I wanted the Patriots to draft him in 2011 so bad. Great weak side linebacking pass rusher. The defense may not be perfect as the Giants defense, but it's definitely something that's going to make it happen.
Absolutely, and defensively, let's not forget about a guy by the name of Josh Norman. Let's not forget about him. He's a top 3 corner in the in the league, and I think this defense is much improved. I think they're gonna, I think they're improved on offense. Actually, a lot of people look at Deshaun Jackson leaving, Pierre Garçon leaving, and they think they think it's going to be a downgrade in Washington, but really, I think they upgraded. It's an upgrade. We'll see. But Redskins fans, I'm here for you. I think you guys are improved, and I think Kirk Cousins can be great. Shame on the Redskins for not paying the man. Shame on them.
Yep. And then the last one. This has been a great first podcast so far, but the last one that we have is the Philadelphia Eagles. The only team, besides Buffalo, the only team besides Buffalo on this podcast to not have won a Super Bowl. Carson Wentz going into his sophomore season. I think that he might be the future of the quarterback position. I heard him termed by the Boston media as Joe Flacco, but better. No offense, G. It's a fun team, but it lacks experience. Aside from Tampa Bay, in my opinion, they're the up-and-coming team in the NFC.
Absolutely.
What do you have to say about the Philadelphia Eagles?
All right, so the Philadelphia Eagles, Eagles fans, I'm very excited for you. Carson Wentz, yes, his sophomore season, I think he learned a lot last year. I think this year he is more prepared and understands how to approach the game a little more. I think he is in perfect position. And a lot of people always say he's a Joe Flacco type of guy because he comes out of a small school, kind of like that same stature, tall quarterback. I think he reminds me more of like a Ben Roethlisberger. He's like a meaty quarterback who can still, mobile, break tackles when people are trying to sack him, and still has his eyes downfield to throw the ball. And lo and behold, they bring in Torrey Smith, a guy Patriots fans may remember, a guy who used to be out there in Baltimore. His career was dying out in San Francisco. I think he is hey, he may be a one-trick pony, but this pony knows that trick real well, and he's going to go down the field and catch the ball. They also have another guy, Alshon Jeffrey, big time receiver. Nelson Aguilar in the slot. They allowed Jordan Matthews to leave Philadelphia, and it was much deserved that they have the receivers there to get it done. They still have Jason Peters at left tackle. I think a big acquisition is LeGarrette Blount.
Patriots, my man LG.
Crazy. Patriots are crazy for not signing this guy back. I have been a fan of LeGarrette Blount since he was in college. When he punched somebody. Was it Boise State they were going against? He punched someone at the end of the game. I've been a fan of his since then. Not that he punched the guy. I'm not, promoting violence and all that stuff like that. But he was a great player then, and he's a great player now. He fumbles the ball every now and then, but you know what? Someone that runs with his tenacity is, you can't put a price on that. And I think he was a great pickup. They still have Darren Sproles, the third down back. So you got that, that slice and that pounding right there. Defensively, they just picked up Ronald Darby, corner from the Buffalo Bills, who is a great corner. They still have they got some pieces on defense. They got Vinny Curry. They got a guy named Timmy Jernigan, who they just got from
Jernigan, Baltimore. Baltimore transplants over in Philadelphia.
Hey, I know it's he's a big time player. You still got Fletcher Cox. You got Brandon Graham over there. You got Chris Long. Patriots fans may remember him last year.
Yep.
Eagles fans, I think you guys have a very, very stacked offense now. I think you have all the receivers you possibly could need for a young quarterback. Running the ball, LeGarrette Blount, I think he is a great running back. Feed him the ball. I think offensively, they are going to be great. Defensively, I think now with Ronald Darby in at corner, I think defensively, this team is on the lookout as well. I mean, this division is stacked. I don't think you can sleep on a single team. And Eagles fans, I'm excited and pumped for this year for you.
The one thing you didn't mention, G, that I want to touch on is their first-round pick, Bo Allen, coming out of Tennessee, which is the same school that another great Philadelphia Eagles pass rusher came out of, Reggie White. I'm not the only person to make that comparison. I haven't seen enough of the man's game to make a comment. But if he can be half as good as the Minister of Defense is, then this Eagles team is looking at something special. With if he lives up to that fame, they'll have two of the best defensive tackles in football alongside Fletcher Cox. So it's going to be really interesting to see what goes on with that team. But I think they're a couple years away, which isn't a bad thing. In the AFC South, they'd be a team in first by a landslide. In the NFC South is pretty good, but at the same time, I think they would do well in the NFC South. I think they're just in a bad division. They're going to get dealt a bad hand. But come a couple years, we're going to be talking about do the Eagles have enough to make it to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. And also, last thing with this division, it's always tough when you have a tough division because all the teams are just beating up on each other. So then when you play these out of division games, it's like, thanks. You just want to say thanks to all the division teams because, they're beating up on these teams. So, hey, I think the outlook is great. The season's getting ready to start. I'm pumped. NFC East fans, you got a lot of reasons to be excited.
That you do,
definitely a lot of
and I
reasons.
want to give the games to look out at before we sign off here for the
Absolutely.
NFC East. Weeks 1 and 14, Dallas versus the Giants. Whenever those two perennial playoff teams get together, it's always a great game. Week 5, Green Bay at Dallas, playoff rematch. No one can forget that Jared Cook reception by the sideline to pretty much give the Green Bay Packers a shot at winning that game. Dallas at Philly, Week 17, last week of the season, most likely has a playoff implication, whether it's Philly squeaking into a wild card or Dallas glitching home field advantage. And then Week 12, you get Giants at Oakland. If it's not going to be Patriots Cowboys, it very well could be Giants Oakland in Super Bowl. So those are the games to watch out for the NFC East. I think that if we're putting money on it, G, which I'm not saying we are because we're both good people. We don't put money on anything. But I would put a bet on at least one of the Super Bowl teams coming from one of these two divisions.
Hey, I wouldn't bet against it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet against it. That's what I can say.
And that's all we have for tonight, folks. This is Around the League, presented by the Goaline Network. First episode in the books. Just covered the AFC East, the NFC East. Definitely like our page on Facebook, _Goaline. Twitter, follow us on Twitter, _Goaline. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Goaline. It's a common theme here. We got we're on SoundCloud, Podbean, great app for podcast. Spreaker, another great app for podcast. Find us under The Goaline. Listen, we're out there. Definitely more to come. Great episode tonight. First one in the books. God bless. We out.